What up, everybody? Everybody, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the What's Up, Everybody podcast. Thank you guys for joining us today. And guess what, everybody? Special treat for you guys. My first official guest on the podcast. We got Papa Ridgehand himself, Mr. T, a.k.a. Master of Disaster, here with us today. Welcome, Pops, to the What's Up, Everybody podcast.
What's up, everybody? I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
I like the shorts, man.
Hey, you know, not everybody can sport these. You know what I'm saying?
I know. They were kind of riding up a little high.
Can they see
I have no idea. We'll have to ask Sweet T. Your sexy white legs, Pops.
Yeah, white is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Glad you're on here, man.
Hey, man, me too. Thanks for the invite.
You're welcome. So
what's up?
Oh, you know, it's funny you asked, man. The podcast, all kinds of cool stuff. But anyway, guys, you know, he's going to be talking about the ins and outs of his life.
Oh, my
goodness. All 66 years.
Yep,
I got another lifetime to get to where you're at.
Yeah.
As long as I've been alive now, I've got another one of those to get to your level.
Yeah.
Hopefully I make it.
At least get to as old as me anyway. We won't go into levels. Just get as old as me.
Well, to get started, Mr. T, and that's what I call him. I don't even call him Dad. I call him Mr. T.
On the mat,
Papa Ridgehand.
yeah.
On the mat, right? Outside the mat. I remember as a kid, I was like, "Hey, Dad." He's like, "Don't you call me Dad. It's Mr. T. Get it right." That's what it was. You got it. No favors. He didn't play any favors. Didn't do any of that stuff. I'm pretty sure.
I had parents tell me, "Boy, I'm glad my kid isn't your kid."
Is it?
Because I treat these guys a lot more different. I mean, I made it a lot tougher on them than I did. Well, I didn't want anybody to say, I showed favors to my kids.
Right.
Nobody ever said that.
Oh, there wasn't. And I don't think they will ever. No. The people that witnessed the stuff that you would do to us, Mr. T. I'm kidding. I'm kidding
today. Yeah.
But so let's talk about your martial arts background. How, Mr. T, everybody, the world wants to know how you got into martial arts. Well, what was the thing? I mean, some people have heard it, some people haven't, but they want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Well, I started my martial arts training. I started in karate back in 1974, March of 1974, actually. Wow. I was, I remember. You can't even think back that far, can you? I don't even think they had paper back then.
Yeah, they didn't.
March of 1974. I was in military school, actually.
Oh,
I was a senior in military school.
Okay.
Carlisle Military. It was in a little town called Bamberg, South Carolina, most commonly known as the Armpit of the South.
Armpit of the South. Why'd they call it that? Was it just hot?
It was nowhere, and really? It still is. It's still.
Is that where we went that one time for your military school? Yeah. Wow. What was sad about that? It was cool to see where you went to military school, but it was sad to see once probably a busy town, and now it was like nothing. Barren. It's like all these shopping centers, but most than half were shut down.
Well, military school. This was right. I graduated right at the end of the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
So military school, that sort of thing was, it was not a cool thing.
Military school, was it?
Yeah, and anything military, because right at the end of the Vietnam era,
they were kicking people out of the military. People didn't want them in there. Right.
It was a bad situation, a bad time for our country. Our military back in the day, back in that era was.
Do you think you would have gone that military route, if it wasn't during that time?
Probably, if it wasn't during that period.
Yeah,
I think I would have I'd probably still be somewhere in some jungle somewhere
at 66,
or surviving, or something. Who knows?
Or some high star ranking general.
Yeah, well, I don't.
And then I would have to be, have to follow in old Pop's footsteps.
Yeah.
What was that movie? Forrest Gump. When was it Captain Dan? Is it Captain Dan?
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His dad fell in military, and then his dad before him, and his dad before him. I figured that's what it would be like. But thank goodness you got into martial arts. I mean, I love our military. I love to do stuff with our military, but martial arts is a pretty cool way to grow up.
It is. I mean, that's what military is. It's a high skill, high level, professional style of martial arts. It's a combat. Martial arts is combat, but martial style, martial jitsu, is really a combat. Martial arts a little bit different.
Yeah.
In that there is more. It's martial arts today, as most people understand it. Not only does it develop the physical, or it's supposed to develop the physical through your skills and techniques and stuff, but it's supposed to develop the person. The inside. The life skills. Try to develop
doing everything to your
person.
Best ability, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing I learned from you too.
Become a better person.
And this is what I learned from him. Not just that, but this guy will walk anywhere, and if he sees trash, he picks it up everywhere. I find myself doing this now. Like if I see a piece of trash in the parking lot, I will walk over there, pick the trash in the parking lot, and throw it away. Or if a buggy is just laying somewhere and not in where it's supposed to be, I will push that bad boy. I will go out of my way and push that thing where it needs to be. Because people are lazy, and it kind of makes me mad.
It's sad. It's a sad
It is.
state,
It is. People expect
we have
somebody else to do it.
We have one of our Coach Devaney. He's got a saying that he brought to our team. If not me, then who?
Yes. I think that's super
cool.
cool.
Then who? If I don't do it, then who will?
Right.
Then it won't get done. Then there's no improvement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
In yourself.
Yeah.
Or
in the environment I'm in. It could be, like you said, it could be at a grocery store somewhere. There's a buggy sitting out in the middle it's in the way. So guess what? Boom. We put it away for somebody. Put it away for the company. Get it out of the way for the next person going into that parking spot.
Right.
Put it in the rack.
I think that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing.
What I like to do when it comes to something simple as that, if I'm going into a store, I'll pick a buggy out of the rack, take it in.
So you go all the way hardcore, like in the rack, like out in the parking lot, like little spots.
I'll take one out of the rack. I'll take it in, and then I'll use that buggy. And then I'll return it. That's one less buggy in the rack.
Right. Well, you should just get all of them. Just do it for them. Just go around and just get all of them. You'll be that guy pushing all those 100 carts in.
That would be required pay right there. I'd require pay for that one.
But I think that's cool. That's a cool mindset. You know what I mean? And you've kind of instilled and passed that on to me. What were you doing before the martial arts? Obviously, you were in military school, but what were you doing before that?
When I was in military school, my thing. There's a special unit in the school that I went to. I went to a school called Carlisle Military. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it closed down in 1977.
I was there. I saw it.
You saw the
school,
the facility that I used to go to school at.
Looks super boring.
So, and of course, most people may or may not know. I don't know, but that's the same year Elvis died. So that was a bad year. 1977, bad year. My school closed up, Carlisle Military School.
Boo.
And Elvis passed away. That was a rough year for me.
Well, I can kind of see how it closed up, and that place looked just boring as all get out.
Well,
I mean, it was a different time.
When it was a military school there, it wasn't boring.
Right.
It was
what was crazy?
Best 4 years. Best 4 years of my life. He has a tendency to not let anybody talk.
I'm sorry.
It's all about him.
It's not. I'm sorry.
It is. It's all about him.
It.
I'm trying to speak.
I feel like
he cuts me off.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like when it's in my head, I have to get it out or I'll forget it. You know what I'm saying? He does this to me all. I do this to him all the time. Yeah. He'll just stop talking and it tells me I was talking. You're interrupting. Shut your face. Sorry about that. Dad.
Y'all,
I love you,
y'all
man.
got witness. Y'all got witness. Anyway, now I totally forgot what I was saying. No, I'm kidding. So I was in military school, and prior to my martial arts life, there was a special team that I was on called a drill team. Drill team is the group that spins rifles and
super cool
stuff, and it was some of the best times of my life. If there was a way to make a living doing that, I would probably be doing that. You would probably be doing that, and all of my kids probably be doing drill team. But for me, there was really no way to do that. So, but anyway, it was a great time. It was the camaraderie within that unit that we were in was amazing. You talk about, you hear stories of people in the military today, how they are in their units and they develop bonds with the other soldiers in their teams. So I kind of get a bit of a sense of that, or I had a bit of a sense of that with the drill team that I was on. So it was an amazing time for me during those 4 years. But the end of my time at Carlisle, my senior year, there was a gentleman came to our school, my first sensei, a guy named Roger Prado. I've been looking for this guy. I haven't been able to find him. He taught karate at the school that at the military school for like the last 3 months of school. He came in, offered to teach classes. I jumped on it. And
so you've been looking for this guy.
Since.
You've been looking for this guy.
I've been trying to find him.
Hey Tony, we finally got somebody behind the computer today. We got old Sweet Tea. See if we can find this guy for Pops. Google, do some research. Do a little Google search.
Prado, Roger Prado. So, but anyway,
Sweet Tea. We'll connect these two together again.
Yeah. So, what got me started in wanting to study karate. Back when I started, karate schools were very few and far between. My mom and my dad, they did, karate wasn't in the book. It wasn't in the picture for me.
Yeah.
But what my inspiration was for studying karate was this really cool guy by the name of Elvis Presley.
Now, Elvis Presley is the man, by the way. Now, real quick, you got $5. I remember you telling me you got $5 for an allowance weekly, and that's what you spent on your food, right?
Yeah.
$5. Okay, different time, guys. And you use that for your karate training?
I did.
So what'd you eat?
No. Okay, no. No, we had a mess hall there.
Okay,
so
okay.
The $5 was just an allowance that I had.
You can spend on whatever.
I can spend on. I can go get a soda. I can go get a hamburger at the little or little what do you call it?
Little pantry or little gas station.
Yeah, it was a. Anyway, yeah. I could go get a drink or whatever. So that was supposed to last me the entire week.
Right.
That's all I got, $5. Now there were times when I was in military school that, especially my first year. My first year was,
pretty crazy.
It was crazy.
This is all boys, right?
Yeah, all boys, boys, and yeah. So my first year, you're known as a rat. That was the term.
Oh, so when you're a freshman, you're just known. Everybody's known as a rat.
All freshmen are rats.
Right.
And what that means is your upperclassmen, your second, third, and fourth yearmen, you were essentially there to serve them. In other words, if I had, and really what happened was the second, third, and fourth yearmen in the school, whenever the new rats came in, they would pick and choose which rat's going to be theirs.
And most frail, the frail ones.
Yes.
So what do you mean by serving them?
Well, let me get to that before you interrupt me. So the second, third, and fourth yearmen, they would pick and choose their rats, and it was the rat's responsibility to take care of their needs. Like, for example, they need a shoe shine, brass shine. This is called hazing, by the way. Hazing.
Okay.
It's not like, anyway. So, but in return, the second, third, and fourth yearman would protect the rat and make sure nobody else would mess with them.
Oh, like pick on them or beat them up and stuff?
Beat them up, abuse them. And there's kind of stuff like that went on. It wasn't crazy, but stuff like that went on.
So you found your guy. You were known as a rat.
Yeah.
Now, from what I hear, you were what they called a bull rat.
That is correct. A bull rat has its own rats.
Right, so you were like top of the heap freshman.
Yeah. I was a big kid going into high school.
He had his own little rat
So
gang.
my second yearman, the guy that took care of me, he was a small fella. I mean, when I say small, he was shorter than me. He was a stout dude, and he wasn't a dude to be messed with. But he would on many occasions he would come to my dorm room, and he would look at me and he would lick his lips, that meant he was hungry. So it was my responsibility to go find him some food.
Oh, okay.
So, the canteen, that was the term. Canteen.
That would freak me out. Some dude coming in your room, licking his lips like.
Well, it wasn't quite that bad. It was a different era back then.
Yeah.
So he was hungry. He didn't have to
Gotcha.
say a word. I went and found him some food.
So you would have to go find, if you didn't have any money, you had to go find him some money so you get some food.
Yeah, I would go and ask other rats. I said, so-and-so needs food. I need some money. You got any money? They would either give me money or I would beat them up and take it. And if they didn't have it,
hey, it's the survival of the fittest.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You had to survive.
And
I would probably have to do the same thing.
It wasn't like, I crushed him. I may smack him around a little bit,
Yeah.
I
just feel like the way that I looked, kind of like prison. They would treat me really bad there.
Or good. Depends how you look at it. Depends how you look at it. I don't know. I don't know what your desires are. But anyway, when I was in military school, so yeah, I would, if he was
bull
hungry,
rat,
I would
son.
go take care of his. I'd go take care of business.
That's right.
But anyway, while I was in military school, that's when I got started my karate training, martial arts training. But there again, back to Elvis. Elvis was the guy that gave me the inspiration. When I was a kid, my mom, if there was an Elvis movie on, we were watching it. She'd turn that TV on. She knew she would get out the old TV guide. You may not know about the TV guide.
I know about the TV guide.
You know about the TV guide?
I know about the TV guide.
They
Tony
had,
don't.
They had TV guides,
but I know
back
about the
then.
TV guide.
So we got the TV guide. She found them. She marked them on the thing, and we were watching Elvis.
Yeah, they didn't have no guide button on TV to see what's on. You had to go to the TV guide
little magazine.
and see what time that TV show came on.
That's
and
right.
what channel.
That's right. You get one in the mail if you
that
you
was
have
a struggle.
subscription.
Right.
Yeah. So here I watch Elvis when I was a kid. And he's singing and he's dancing. He's got all the ladies and every now and then when he had to beat somebody up or keep somebody from beating somebody up, he would do this really cool karate stuff and all these really cool moves.
Yeah.
I thought, wow,
I want to do
awesome.
some of that.
So I thought to myself, one day I'm gonna do karate. I'm gonna learn karate. So
I'm thinking like when you saw him do his karate, that like the Elvis karate, if you looked at that as I did when I saw The Matrix. How cool, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that stuff was so cool.
Much.
But that was probably the vibe when you saw that was like me watching Matrix the first time back in those days.
Yeah.
Dodging bullets. Like, whoa, dude.
And Elvis would do his thing, man, and
he would do some stuff on stage too. He did Kenpo, Kenpo, which is more of like a Chinese influence, right?
He studied under a guy named Ed Parker. Ed Parker Kenpo, and Ed Parker's a good martial artist from what I understand. He was before my time. Excuse me, but yeah. And then he also studied Pasaru. I think the name of his style is.
God bless you.
That was Pasaru is more of it's Korean based.
Okay.
And he studied that there in Memphis.
Sweet.
I actually met Elvis's Pasaru instructor.
Really?
Yeah, he's since passed away.
Oh man.
But
was this before I was born?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
now, we studied Kenpo, Kenpo, which is more of a Japanese influence, right?
It's got a heavier Japanese influence to it.
Wow.
And of course, our Kenpo style has been Americanized, if you would. So we emphasize other things.
Yeah, striking, kicking, punching, more ground as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
Who was your inspiration? Obviously, it's Elvis. Elvis was your inspiration.
Elvis was one. Bruce Lee was the other.
Bruce Lee.
I mean, everybody knows Bruce. If you don't know Bruce Lee, shame on you. You're on this podcast. You listen to this podcast.
One of the two.
Don't know Bruce Lee. Shame on you.
Or Elvis. You know what? I was teaching kids class the other day, and an Elvis song came on. I was like, asked the kids who this was, and they couldn't answer. I was disappointed. I know. I said, hey,
disappointed their parents.
Your mom and dad are failing you as parents if you don't know who this is.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't know who Elvis is.
That's right.
I was going to line them up and slap them and tell them to go home.
Yep.
Line them up. Pat, pat. Get out of here.
Don't line the parents up.
Yeah, should be lining the parents up.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
So Bruce Lee was your inspiration. I remember watching those on VHS. You had The Last Dragon.
No.
It was the
Give me your man card.
I forgot what it was called, man.
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon. What was the one where he would go up different levels?
That was Game of Death.
Oh, look at this guy.
Bruce Lee's Game of Death. Bruce Lee, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in that. Dan Inosanto was in that.
Chuck Norris.
No, he was in. What was that? That wasn't. I don't think that was Game of Death.
Okay.
I can't remember that one. I need to give up.
That was an old one. You give your man card now. Come on now.
Yeah, I know it. But it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Martial arts stuff.
I was like right on the very end of that, and then I got into like the Jackie Chan, Jet Li movies.
Awesome,
you know what I mean? Jackie Chan's my all-time favorite.
Yep.
All-time favorite.
Jackie Chan's, he's the boss.
Yeah. He's still doing some stuff. Like he's still putting out movies.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan on Netflix. I think it's Netflix or Hulu. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
But he was awesome. Did his own stunts and everything. Now you competed as well.
Yep, I did. When I started competition, it was in mid 70s.
Your first kickboxing fight, or just competing?
No, just karate tournament.
Okay, gotcha.
And it was no gear, bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle?
Yeah.
Point fighting?
Yeah.
It was like hard point, right?
Yeah, it was.
So there's like point fighting, which like you where referee says go, you have to land a technique first.
That's correct.
But no gear, and it was hard point. It was like full contact.
Pretty much.
And groin shots were legal there.
Yes, that is correct.
Was it you or was it somebody else that got your cup broke?
I got my cup broke, and I broke somebody's cup. Yeah.
I think it was one of your old buddies told me that you had gotten kicked, and your cup broke, and you got your goob stuck in between, and you just fell to the floor because you get pinched back on it.
Well, yeah, I got kicked. I was trying to kick somebody in the head, and the guy picked his leg up and ended up kicking me in the cup, and actually broke it. Yeah, they did have cups back then, ladies and gents. And it broke my cup, and it kind of expanded, and it pinched back on the parts. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So here I am in the middle of the tournament. It's locked down on me, and I can't move. So it's like I'm, you know how
like duck walking.
Yeah, like you're riding a horse and I'm running to bed.
We have to have this on tape somewhere, on VHS somewhere.
So I'm running to the bathroom to unhook the device off of my parts.
This makes me hurt.
And then I ended up, and everybody in the tournament, everybody's around me, they were just laughing because they knew what was going on. So I made it back to the competition, and
they held it off. They didn't disqualify you.
Nope, they held it up.
What?
They stopped.
You lucky guy.
I'll be right back. Yeah. Now, so I mean, you pay money to compete, so
yeah. Let me get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that was point fighting. I remember watching some of your point fighting, like hook kicking the crap out of people and Ridgehand and dudes. I feel like that was your technique. Hook kick and a Ridgehand was your jam. That's why we call him Papa Ridgehand.
Yeah, for the most part. Round kicks, high kicks. I liked hook kick because it was deceptive. And the Ridgehand.
You get some power on that
put
thing.
Some steam on a Ridgehand.
Yeah, you can. It's like a knife, just ooh.
Yeah, I have.
Would you go to the groin with it?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Top of the head.
What?
Neck, body.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere.
There was a situation one time when I used to bounce. I was a bouncer in Charleston, South Carolina.
I feel like everybody that's done martial arts, at least MMA, has bounced.
Yeah.
I haven't bounced.
Yeah.
Like you, all your instructor bounced. My brother Evan bounced. Pretty much every MMA fighter out there has bounced. I've never done it, but it sounds like pretty cool.
It was
just beating up people.
It was a pretty unique time, but I only got in one situation where this guy, he was drunk and.
Hold on a second. This is story time, by the way, guys. Story time for Mr. T's past as a bouncer.
Okay. So
you gotta tell it now.
There was a gentleman that was in the club we were in. Our club was a very narrow club. It had a back door and a front door. You weren't allowed to use the front door because the front door emptied out, dumped right out onto King Street, I think it is. King
Street. The main street or whatever.
Main Street, yeah. So the local police said, do not use that door. You had to have somebody to man it so they can have a fire escape, but they didn't allow people to travel in and out the front door.
Just in.
They weren't allowed. You weren't allowed to go in or out.
Oh wow! Okay.
It was there in case of an emergency. People could exit there.
Okay, gotcha.
The problem was people were stumbling out into the street and falling into the street, and it was causing problems.
Yeah.
So that made everybody enter the back door. And there was some parking back there, and there's a parking lot right up, right down the street from the club I was bouncing. So there's this guy. I guess he thought he was special, and the club was not allowed to let their patrons leave the facility with any kind of plastic cup or bottle or anything.
As they do still to this day, I'm pretty sure.
I guess, I don't know.
Can't leave.
So, and the reason is as they left the facility, after they left the club, they would travel to the parking lot. On the way to the parking lot, they would finish their drink, they would just throw it down. So they were littering, they were making a huge mess. So we were not allowed to let them leave the club. So they would get a drink and they would start to walk out. Excuse me, sir, you're not allowed to take that outside. For this and that. So they'd get all huffy and mad. So this guy, he decided.
Was he a big dude, small guy?
Huh?
Was he a big guy?
He's probably close to 200 pounds, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe 6 foot. I don't know. So I don't remember. But so he had his little honey on his arm, and I guess he thought he was special. So he's getting ready to leave. No, he bought a drink for his honey. And they were getting ready to leave. Excuse me, sir, you're not allowed to take that outside. He's all mad, all this and all that. So he took it. He took the drink and he sucked it down real fast, and he started walking out with the cup. I said, sorry, sir, it's not the drink, it's the cup that's the issue. Then he, so as he started out, he threw the cup on me. He threw it at me. And so I kind of pushed him out. I said, you don't need to be doing that. So I kind of helped him outside. Well, he stepped outside. His honey didn't step out. She stayed inside. So as I pushed him out the door, I said, you can't be doing that. So he turned around and squared off. And then next thing you know, she's behind me, whining and screaming, crying because, she's stuck in the building. She's standing doing this, that. So he said, I'm coming back in. I said, no, you're not. You ain't coming back in the building. Yeah. I said, you out? You ain't coming back in. He said, oh, yes, I am. So he came back at me, and he came at me. And when he did, I grabbed him by his shirt. No. Let's see. He came at me. I think he swung him. I can't remember. But anyway, I hit him with a Ridgehand. Boom, I smoked him. I mean, it was a mess. It was a mess.
Didn't you kick this guy between the legs? He just coughed at you or something like that?
Yep. I was getting ready to get to that. So he's after I smoked him, he stepped up to me. Then I just let him have it right between the legs. He looked at me and kind of coughed a little bit. I'm like, oh, I said, the first thing I thought in my head is all this stuff I've been learning all these years. Does it really work?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You kick a guy between the legs, and he just laughs at you. He looks at you.
Boom! He looked right at me. And I'm like, okay, this is on. So here he comes. I hit him again. Boom! Hit him with that Ridgehand. And it was a mess. He was bleeding like a pig. And I staggered him. And then he decided he was going to stumble toward me. So as he did, I hit him again. Boom! 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 I pumped him with the Ridgehand. Just real quick. Boom! 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 As he was stumbling. I didn't know if he was trying to take me down or if he was just staggering.
I can see how that cuts you. Huh? Yeah, I can see how that cuts you.
Oh, yeah. So as he stumbled toward me, he's like bent over almost at a 90-degree angle. I don't know if he's trying to take me down or what. So I hit him with the Ridgehand as he was traveling in my direction. And then he kind of staggered up. And then when his head came up, he was bleeding like a pig. I said, oh, no. I didn't realize. I'd never really had to use a Ridgehand in street situations.
Yeah.
So here he comes. He said, I'm coming in. I said, no,
after
you're
he's
not.
bleeding and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He was drunk. He's 3 sheets.
He felt it the next day, I tell you that.
Yeah, I bet so. So as he came past me, I grabbed him by his sweater. And I swung. We were spinning around in the parking lot. And I finally spun him down to his knees. I grabbed the back of his sweater.
Yeah.
So he had a big old sweater on it. So I spun him down to his knees, and I hopped in right behind him, and I grabbed him by the hair. And I had gone into autopilot. I was scared to death.
Yeah.
Because I had
He's
never
like when you
really,
see red, like you're just like, yeah.
Yeah. I had never really been in that much of a street situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm in autopilot. I grabbed the guy by the hair, and I literally folding his head back over he was down on his knees.
Yep.
So his head was about yay high off the ground. So,
Right.
so I folded him back, and I reared back, and I had in my head, I was in scared, defense, survival. I don't know what you want to call it. Mode. So I drew back, and my plan was to hit him right in the throat with a knife hand.
Well, that would have killed him.
It would have. Thank goodness. I'm getting ready to say. But the head bouncer, he was standing at the door, and he called my name. He called me out. He said, "Ray, stop." So I did. I stopped, and I thought, "Oh, crap." And if I had done that, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You'd
be in jail for murder.
I'd be in prison right now. So anyway, thank goodness, the guy, the head bouncer
was
squared
there.
Me away. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
But he watched the whole thing happen until that point. I guess he was enjoying the show or something. I don't know.
You pumped this dude with a groin shot.
I did.
You pump him full of like rich. I mean, let me see your hands, man. You got some freaking knuckles. Got some. I'm pretty sure these are like fusing together at this point. I got little baby knuckles compared. You still do hand conditioning?
I do. I work the Maki a little bit. Not crazy like I used to, but I do a little bit.
Yeah, thank goodness you didn't knife hand that dude in the throat. You'd have killed him, Mr. D.
Oh, no.
Pops, wanted for murder.
Yeah, well, anyway, thank goodness.
Did you continue to bounce after that?
I think, no, I think that was, I bounced a little bit, but it was just like for a summer gig,
Got you.
So then
Story time.
I went off to college, and
that's what brought you up this way, to Greenville.
Yep, it brought me to a little town called Anderson, South Carolina.
Anderson College.
I went to Anderson College. And the reason I went to Anderson College, well, one, my grades were terrible, and I could get in Anderson. But more importantly for me is the school that I was studying karate at had one of their black belts teaching at Anderson College.
Oh, wow.
That's why I went to Anderson College. I wanted to train with him. I wanted to stay.
How'd you find that out without social media and stuff?
I met the guy at the school I was studying at.
Yeah.
I met the instructor from Anderson. He had come down. The guy in the school I trained at was doing a clinic, a seminar, and his black belts came in. There was very few. And I met this guy who was teaching karate at Anderson College.
Cool.
And so I decided, you know what? He's at Anderson. He's part of this style. I'm going to go there and train with him.
That's wild, because now when I think of stuff without social media or that just all the stuff out there, like how do you even find people?
This was before what's
the internet?
No,
well,
yeah,
AOL.
Much. Yeah, it was before all that. Yeah.
Yeah, people still had like the
yeah.
phones. I saw this thing the other day of these two like teenagers. This dad had put one out to see if they could figure out how to make a call, and it took them forever to figure out how to make a call.
It was, but the world we live in, man, it's fast.
Well, back then, I mean, even in the 80s when I grew up, people just stayed closer to home. Because your phone was there. Your phone was at home, so you got to stay close to it just in case something happened, I guess. I don't know, but people just...
In case your girlfriend called.
Yeah.
Or your boyfriend.
I remember the struggles. You get on, and then you hear somebody up on the other line. I'm like, get off the phone, Lindsay. Trying to listen to all my conversations,
Yeah.
Late at night, trying to get on the computer.
It was me and Mom. Blame it on Lindsay.
Yeah. That was Lindsay. You have to get on the internet. Oh man, I miss those days, man.
Yeah.
Golly, I know. I was like, how did you even figure that out? Well, you just fly in a plane and have like one of those banners. If you have a martial arts school in your town, call me.
Well, how did I find out about that?
You knew somebody that.
Okay, so when the guy came to our military school to teach me, his name was Roger Prado.
Yeah.
I trained under him.
Right.
His instructor was in a school close to where I lived back home.
Yeah.
In a little town called Summerville, South Carolina.
Gotcha.
So after I got out of military school, I lived in a little town called Monk's Corner. Monk's Corner and Summerville are two little towns that are side by side.
Yep.
They were actually kind of arch rivals in in high school sports, Somerville and Monk Corner. So whenever I came home, graduated high school, came home for the summer, guess what I did? I trained karate
Cool.
at the main dojo.
Yeah.
So while I was at the main dojo studying karate for the summer, the guy from Anderson, the black belt from Anderson, came and did some training, and I met him.
Cool.
That's what got me to Anderson.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's kind of my lineage or history early on in my karate training.
When did you have your first full contact fight?
I fought my first full contact. It was kickboxing.
Yep.
In 1977. 1977 at the Grady Cole Center in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow. There were some other fights there. Wasn't there some fights there?
UFC, the UFC I took you to.
Yeah, it was like 12. That was like UFC 3?
3, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was right. I was 12 years old when that happened. That was
90.
at Grady Cole Center where you had your first fight.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
I fought my first kickboxing match on the undercard of the, Jeff Smith out of Washington, D.C., the D.C. Bomber fought.
That's what they called him, the D.C. Bomber.
Yeah. He fought Keith Hayflick, I think the guy's name was Keith Hayflick. Pretty awesome. Both those awesome kickboxers.
Were you before or after the Bill Superfoot Wallace, the Joe Lewis's?
Oh, I was after.
You were after those guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
Joe Lewis.
Legends.
Joe Lewis won his world title, heavyweight title in '74.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I want to see the ABC Wide World of Sports or one of those back in the day.
Yeah.
TV.
You did some kind of like no rules fight here in Greenville. It was called the Baddest Man in Greenville, correct?
Actually, no.
It wasn't?
No. It was, we got to get this right, ladies and gents, the Baddest Man in South Carolina.
The baddest man in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was no rules, pretty much.
It was crazy. It was, they had like 3 rules. You couldn't bite.
Okay.
You couldn't hit directly into the throat.
Okay, understandable.
And you could not kick up between the legs. You can strike into the groin, but it had to be a
straight in.
Strike.
Oh, wow.
Strike. But you couldn't go
What the heck?
up between the legs with a groin strike.
And you won that twice?
No, I only won that one once. They only hosted that one time. That was a pretty crazy.
Yeah, there was like no weight classes.
It was one weight class, 165 and up.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So
what were you weighing?
I was about 215-ish.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like
You
that.
always big dude.
But I fought the biggest guy in the tournament, and I fought the smallest guy in the tournament.
Who was the biggest guy? How much did that guy weigh?
He weighed 340 pounds.
300 and what would you do with a guy with 340 pounds? Just ran around the wing until
Get
he got
out of the
tired?
way. Get out of the way.
Just got out of the way.
He come like
Butterbean.
a freight train. He come like a freight train. I hit him, and he had boxing gloves. We didn't have MMA gloves. So we had boxing gloves. We had to have some. Didn't have athletic commission back then, so there was a guy came out of Atlanta, a promoter out of Atlanta, came to South Carolina, and decided to host this no rules event, and they put out a call, and I think it was 30, they brought in 32, I think. 16, 30. They only allowed 32 people to participate.
Oh, cool.
You had to weigh 165, at least 165 pounds before they let you enter it. So anyway, I ended up competing in that. I fought one time on Friday, and I fought 4 times on Saturday.
4 times on
4
Saturday.
times, yeah.
How many? What?
And let's see, everybody on Saturday.
And there were 30-minute rounds, right?
Oh, that was funny.
Okay.
No, I can't remember. It's 2 or 3 minute rounds. I can't remember.
Still, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's wild. Now, you fought that in the early 80s, and then you fought one in like something in 86?
89.
89?
There was another event. It was it wasn't a tough man show, because that was in 89. That moniker was already registered. Yeah. So, but it was some toughest guy in Greenville or something like that, or that was the Greenville.
Yeah,
one.
the Greenville one, sweet.
Yeah, so I fought in that one. That was there were some pretty skilled guys fighting in that one.
Yeah, some other kickboxers, huh?
Yeah, but there were some rules in that one. Yeah.
No, was there a guy named Ray Rice that fought in that?
He fought in one of those shows.
Got you. Now, Ray Rice, how did you meet him? Now, I don't know if you guys don't know, he ended up becoming a world champion, right?
He did.
World champion kickboxer.
Yeah.
And he started with you?
Well, no. Okay, so I got a call from a gentleman out of North Carolina. He was looking for a 165er.
Yeah.
And I was training guys, This was in, I want to say, mid-'80s maybe, mid to late 80s. I can't remember. It might even been in the 90s. I can't remember. Anyway, so he said, I need a 165er that's willing to travel to Memphis, Tennessee to fight on a card. And he's doing a 5-round fight, but he's actually, it's a tune-up fight for a guy there who's getting ready to fight for a world title.
Oh, so they're trying to feed into somebody.
Yeah, they were. Well, yeah. So anyway, I'm looking around for a 165. We're trying to find one. So I end up finding this guy named Ray Rice. So the guy that gave me information on Ray Rice, he said, okay, Ray Rice is a good fighter, but you got to be careful. If it gets a little rough, he will quit on the stool. I said, what? Yeah, that didn't register. I just couldn't fathom that,
Right, somebody quitting out there like that.
just quit on the stool. If it gets a little rough, he just quit on the stool. I said, well, no, he won't.
He ain't going to do that to me. So, now if he's wanting to were you going to train this guy?
No, he was trained. He had his own place. He's doing his own training. So I called him. I said, hey, you interested in fighting so-and-so in such and such time? And he said, sure. I said, okay. I said, now listen, because, my reputation on the line, because I'm bringing this guy to the event.
Were you cornering him, right?
I did corner him.
So did he train with you at all?
He trained just a little bit,
okay.
Maybe like a couple weeks or something. But nothing real serious. I didn't train him for any length of time. I'd get him in shape, help get in shape, and work on his skills a little bit. So we loaded up in the car. We drove to Memphis, Tennessee. Actually, it was South Haven, Mississippi, which is right next door to Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I think it was the Bland brothers, Jimmy and Greg Bland. I think Greg Bland was fighting, and Jimmy was like the promoter. But anyway, both good athletes, both good fighters. So we were loaded up in the car. We headed to South Haven, Mississippi. We got there and this and that. We did this and we did that. And fight time, first round, Ray gets his butt handed to him. Greg Bland was putting it on him. Boom, 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 boom. He was having it rough.
So in your head, were you thinking this guy was going to quit?
Yeah. So he came back to the corner, and my second was down below. He's sitting on the corner. He looked rough. It wasn't like he was crushed.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty rough day for first round. So he sat down. He threw his arm back on the ropes. And I give him a chance to catch his breath a little bit. I started talking to him. He goes, Coach, he said, I can't go back. I can't do it. I can't go back out. He said, I'm too tired. What? I forget what his excuse was. I looked at him. I looked down in my corner. I looked at him, and I just slapped him. Pow! Smoked him right in his face. Ooh! Right
slapped him hard?
I smoked him. It's a wonder he didn't go out of the seat. I did. I looked at him, and what kind of made it kind of really weird is when I smoked him, the whole place went silent.
Oh, Lord.
And I got in his face, and I said, you got two choices. I said, you go fight him, or you fight me. He looked at me. I stuck his mouthpiece back in, picked him up, shoved him out there. He went 4 more rounds with this guy. Took a butt whipping.
But he didn't give up.
But he did not.
He'd rather fight this guy.
He didn't know that he could
do it. That you could do it, right?
And then he eventually went on to, I think, win 2 world titles.
I bet you that was a game changer.
For that,
I bet you that was a game changer after that. People don't realize what they're capable of when they're put in those kind of situations because they've never been there. You know what I'm saying? That they can do more.
That's right.
Right? It's important for a trainer to be able to put their fighter in situations somewhat that comes close to that. So that way when they're in this stuff, they can do it. They can handle it.
And me and Ray, we're good buds, you know. Yeah, he's a great fella. He's a good gentleman.
Mr. T, you've been training the guys for a long time. Started because of Elvis Presley. We went from your bull ratting days all the way up to your kickboxing and training days where you've been slapping people. We went to your bouncing days as well. We just went through it. We went through it. Another years more. We gotta save that for another time. Another time, guys.
Okay.
There you have it, everybody. Papa Ridgehand, a.k.a. Master of Disaster, right here, baby.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you guys for joining the channel. This is the What's Up Everybody podcast. Check it out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you like it, guys. Throw some comments down below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, or this guy's going to come after you and Ridgehand you in the night when you least expect it. Thank you, guys. Catch y'all later.